This is so wonderful because this is the first time in my knowledge that we've had separate departments, agriculture, HHS, willing to work together. We've had Marty McCary also, Mehmet Oz, a whole bunch of people who are willing to just settle and work together, not looking for preeminence, but looking for a solution to the problems that we have today. And I just am finding it very wonderful to be able to work with people who are that dedicated, because it's going to make a difference. You know, it was 45 years ago that the first dietary guidelines for Americans was put forth. 45 years to get our health into the right place based on the foods that we eat. Unfortunately, we lost our way. And in those years, now we see spiking of chronic diseases in adults, obesity in children, and a whole host of chronic conditions that are secondary to the fact that we've forgotten about real food. We've forgotten about how valuable it is and even what it is. The dietary guidelines were there to point people in the direction of the right kinds of foods. And instead, for the sake of convenience and pricing, we've allowed the nutrition to be taken out of our food and replaced it with empty calories. And now we see all these fat kids running around. It's not their fault. It's our fault because we're in charge and we need to be putting the right things in front of them. I love it when people say, I don't really eat that much. I just have a gland problem. Have you heard that? They do have a gland problem. It's a salivary gland. And we need to deal with that as well as the empty calories. But, you know, as a pediatric neurosurgeon, I was very concerned about the nutrition of the patients, because the brain begins to develop from the moment of conception. And millions of neurons are added every day. Later on, billions of neurons a day. Think about that. And the brain continues to develop right into the mid to late 20s. So what are we giving it to develop on? Empty calories or highly nutritious real food? I think we're seeing the result of that. Sometimes I wonder about some of these kids we see. They're on these man-on-the-street interviews, and they ask them the simplest questions. And they have no idea what you're talking about. You could say, who wrote Mozart's 40th Symphony? And they wouldn't know. I mean, I think that has something to do with brain development. So we need to be thinking about how are we going to change that. And that's what's happening right now with this group of people, not only the principals, but really outstanding staff who've dedicated themselves to getting this done. I've never seen such dedication before, and I'm sure it will pay for us. You know, but when I think about the body that God gave us, it was meant for high performance, not low performance. And if we put the right things in it, it will perform well. It's sort of like a high-powered race car. What are you going to fuel it with? Probably premium gasoline. You're not going to come along and say, well, maybe if I mix it half and half with water, it'll do well. It'll still go, but it won't perform highly. And then you say, I don't like the way it smells, let's put some maple syrup in it. What's going to happen over the course of time? It's going to stop working. You're going to have to replace the whole engine. The cost of not providing the appropriate nutritious meals for our people does the same thing. It costs us a lot at the end because of the diabetes and all the other things that are going on. I have a very good friend, had a very difficult case of diabetes, very difficult to manage. He went to Italy, and within 2 weeks, it was gone. He was staying at a villa. All the fresh foods were grown right there, the dairy products, no processing. Within 2 weeks, the diabetes was gone. He stayed for 3 months. He came back here. Within 2 weeks, it was back. And I don't think that's an exceptional case. So it tells us what we need to do. I am praising God that we have the clarity and the leadership to get it done. And with that, I want to thank all the supporters. You've noticed there hasn't been a lot of people on the other side or on any side. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is a matter of health for America.